All right, today we're diving into Krishna Janmashtami, one of Hinduism's most incredible festivals. And, it's a celebration born from the most unlikely of places, a prison cell. But out of that darkness comes this powerful, powerful message about hope.
So that brings us to the big question, right? How on earth can a birth in a prison cell end up symbolizing hope for the entire world? It seems kind of backward, doesn't it? A story that kicks off with imprisonment becoming this huge symbol of joy and freedom. Well, that's the paradox we're going to unpack. Okay, so first things first. To really get the story, we've got to break down the name. What does Janmashtami actually mean?
At its heart, Janmashtami is basically a huge divine birthday party. But, it's not just any birthday. We're celebrating someone absolutely extraordinary, Lord Krishna. He's considered an incarnation of the god Vishnu, who came down to Earth for a pretty big job, to restore balance to the entire cosmos.
All right, I want you to hold on to one number, just one, the number 8. Now I know, it sounds totally random, but trust me, this number, it's the key. It's the key that unlocks the whole story of Krishna's birth. You see, the number 8 is everywhere in this story. It's woven into the very fabric of it. So check this out. Krishna, he's the 8th avatar of Vishnu. The festival itself, it's celebrated on the 8th day, which is called Ashtami. And here's the big one, the most important piece for our story. He was the 8th son born to his mother, Devaki. It's not a coincidence, right? This is a pattern of real cosmic significance.
So when you put it all together, the name of the festival is kind of hiding the whole story right in plain sight. You've got Janma, which means birth, and Ashtami, which means 8th day. So, Janmashtami literally translates to the birth on the 8th day. Simple as that. Cool, right?
Okay, so now that we have the name down, let's get to the origin story. And I gotta tell you, this is no peaceful, quiet nativity scene. Not at all. This is pure drama. We're talking prophecy, a power-hungry king, and a birth that was destined to shake an empire to its core. So, picture this. We're in the ancient city of Mathura, and it's ruled by this absolutely cruel king named Kansa. This guy was a total tyrant. He had his people living in constant fear. It was just an era of injustice. But then, something happens. A prophecy comes down from the heavens. A divine voice rings out, and it declares that Kansa's reign of terror is coming to an end. And get this, his destroyer is going to be the 8th son of his own sister, Devaki. Talk about family drama.
So Kansa, as you can imagine, is completely terrified. He's paranoid. And he does something drastic. He takes his own sister, Devaki, and her husband, Vasudeva, and throws them into a prison cell. His plan? To control fate itself. He's going to destroy any child that could possibly threaten his throne.
But you can't stop destiny, right? In the darkest hour of the night, at the stroke of midnight, and in the most hopeless place you can imagine, that cold prison cell, the prophecy comes true. A child is born, a savior, right under the tyrant's nose.
Wow, what a story, right? It's just thrilling. But its real power, its lasting power, is in what it all symbolizes. So let's dig a little deeper. What does a birth inside a prison really represent on a spiritual level?
Well, Krishna's birth is all about the ultimate victory of Dharma over Adharma. Think of Dharma as cosmic order. It's righteousness, truth, balance, the universe working the way it's supposed to. Adharma, on the other hand, is the total opposite. It's chaos, it's injustice, cruelty, everything that's wrong. So Krishna showing up, that was a promise. It was a sign that even when it looks like chaos is winning, order and goodness will always find a way to return.
And this festival isn't just about celebrating some ancient victory. It's way more personal than that. It's about really embracing the teachings that Krishna's life stands for. And these are values we can all understand, right? Love, devotion, or bhakti, humility, and selfless service. It's a reminder for everyone to try and bring a little more of that into their own lives.
So that's the story, that's the meaning. But how do people actually celebrate this incredible story of hope today? Let's take a look at how all these amazing traditions bring the whole narrative to life.
The celebrations are just amazing. They're so vibrant and full of symbolism. A lot of people will fast all day, right up until midnight, the moment Krishna was born. The whole day is filled with prayers and these beautiful devotional songs called bhajans. You'll also see communities getting together and having a blast, reenacting scenes from his childhood. And it all comes to a head in the temples, where they treat these little idols of baby Krishna just like a newborn. They're bathed, dressed in new clothes, and placed in cradles. It's like they're welcoming him into the world all over again.
Okay, so we've covered the story, we've covered the celebrations, but what is it about this story that gives it so much staying power? I mean, why does a narrative from thousands of years ago still resonate so deeply with people today?
Well, it goes way beyond just the story of his birth. Krishna's teachings, which you can find in the sacred text, the Bhagavad Gita, they're just a profound guide for life. It's full of wisdom about our duty, about truth, about the very nature of existence, and it continues to inspire millions and millions of people.
But really, if there's one single message, one timeless promise to take away from Janmashtami, it has to be this. Whenever it feels like injustice and darkness are winning, whenever righteousness is in decline, some form of divine power will rise up to restore the balance. And that is the ultimate message of hope.
And that brings us right back to where we started. It leaves us with a question to really think about. In our own world, with all of our own struggles against injustice and chaos, what can we pull from this ancient story? What does a birth in a present cell, this incredible symbol of hope against all odds, what does it really mean for you and me today?